It's been 2 weeks, but we're back.
Hallelujah, Hickory.
We had all kind of things going on. 2 weeks ago, I was at the pinning for my daughter as she went from LPN to RN. Very proud. And then had to go back for their bucket list graduation thing that they do at CVCC, where it's an individual basis.
Okay, yeah.
There's no formal graduation there anymore. That's since COVID. That was on Friday. And then last Monday night, we were at the Catawba County Sports Hall of Fame. You did a wonderful job again.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now,
Thank
you have – are you still on the board, or are you completely off? You just give up the chair?
I just gave up the chair. I'm still on the board, but there were so many other responsibilities, and I just felt that after seven years of doing that, I just thought it was time for somebody else to pick up the mantle and run with it and see what else they can do and how they can improve it and everything, and especially the process of getting the banquet ready, maybe adding another event.
You can improve perfection. I don't know what you're
about
thinking.
that. No, I mean, in terms of, we've had some issues with, getting sponsors.
Can I
people
tell you the only issue that I saw?
Yeah, absolutely. We're willing to take any kind of constructive criticism.
How can a place like that not have a decent PA system?
There you go. Yeah, that was mine.
You were on one system, and the guest was on
the
separate.
other. And I don't want to do the microphones. I'd rather have a little headset. If I'm going to walk around and everything, instead of holding microphones and grab somebody else's, I'd rather just be on the headset and carry the mic myself. But, yeah, it's basic. It's difficult because it's a gymnasium, and it's not like
But the speaker on the stage sounded much better than the speaker that went with the gym.
Yeah. Maybe because it was closer.
And I'm trying to think, who else mentioned that to me?
I would like to see that improved, and then some type of background, because all we had was, in the past, we've had a different background with the logo or the banner or the sponsor banners, but improve the background so it looks more aesthetic. And maybe, if you can, maybe have a big background and have a screen. Instead of having your program and people reading out of your program, you're throwing the information with a picture of the Hall of Famer up on the screen. But, that's
I
maybe
like
down
the
the
format.
I do too. I think the interview format does work.
Yes.
It works in a lot of other places too.
We've talked. Hang in there, Ford. We got your man coming on tonight. Go ahead and give you the lineup. Mike Houston.
Yeah.
East Carolina's own Mike Houston will join us at 6:15. Greg Paradine. I wrote it down, but then Greg Paradine, head coach of Lenore-Ryan Lacrosse, going to the national championship game, correct?
Yeah, second time in 3 years.
There
we had him
go.
on 2 years ago when they went.
And I will let Juju flex his he will be flexing his lacrosse knowledge.
I don't have a lot of it, but it's exciting to watch.
It is.
And they're trying to become the first team at LR to win a national championship as an NCAA sponsored school. So that should be fun. They won yesterday over Limestone, made the trip down to Limestone. One thing is certain, Lanny, and those that follow high school sports around here, for our community size, and I even said it at the Hall of Fame meeting last week, that the banquet, that for our size of our community, we do a lot of good things, and we recognize, and the sports history around here is very, very strong. And I noticed in Limestone, LR lacrosse fans, they traveled. There were more fans from LR there than Limestone had, and it was at their home site. And I think Catawba County and the greater Hickory area seems to be more into the sports side of things than, say, except for high school football, maybe Gaffney. Greater Gaffney, that there wasn't there. I didn't feel like a buzz or a vibe going on for that yesterday. And then we made the trip through downtown Gaffney. It just doesn't have the same feel as, say, maybe a downtown Hickory or Newton or throughout Catawba County.
Yeah, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I'll tell you something that I do I don't do it anymore, but when Addison was playing volleyball, and we would go to different tournaments, or we'd go to a camp. Like we went to Catawba, we went to Davidson. We went different places when she was doing camps. And then sometimes they would have these tournaments preseason when she was in high school. And then, of course, when traveling, you might be in a high school gym. I would always go hunt for the trophy case and the Hall of Fame wall and just to look at the athletes that have come through. Catawba does a good job with that in their gym. They've got a wall, much like the hallway at the Highland Recreational Center. That I thought that was a nice job that's done with all the Hall of
I'd like to
Fame.
decorate that up too a little bit. Put maybe a TV and maybe run a video every once in a while, like something on the loop with some signs. Say, hey, besides.
Now, you guys do not. One thing they do in Lincoln County is you donate some memorabilia.
Well, they did have this year. And that's another thing going forward that they're thinking about doing is the night of the Hall of Fame is to have some Hall of Famers. And we're coming up on our 25th anniversary, maybe for the 25th anniversary, people that are still with us and or their families, donate some type of memorabilia and then have a room where people can go in and see that stuff.
That stuff is in the Cultural Center at Lincoln.
Okay.
I've never been there. I think it's just kind of tucked away in a back room somewhere, but when I went in, each member brought some memorabilia, and it was kind of on display. And then they asked what they could keep to add to the collection. And I donated 3 pieces. My Shrine Bowl jersey, my East-West jersey. I was the first player to ever make those 2 games from West Lincoln. And my helmet, because I kept my helmet because it aged out. After so many years, you have to replace them. My helmet was a McGregor that had real thick pads in it, and they couldn't use those anymore. And I kept it after the East-West game because it couldn't be used the next fall. And my wife was like, I cannot believe that you're donating that stuff. I said, why? She said, well, what if we wanted it? I'm like, we've been together 27 years. How many times have you seen it? Ain't nobody ever asked for that stuff.
Well, you got a nice memorabilia thing over in the corner here.
Yeah, I do. Well, I do. I mean, that's just stuff from around here. Oh, Wesley picked up a now I done forgot again. Marshall quarterback that went on to the pros in coaching.
There are a couple of them.
Black.
Oh, yeah. He was the offensive coordinator for
Jacksonville.
Tampa Bay. Leftwich. Brian
Leftwich.
Yeah.
He found a Marshall mini helmet with that he had autographed.
Okay.
Got it for like $25. Yeah. So I got to go take some shirts and go make a visit down where we get our paper printed, and I'm gonna pick up some stuff. He's picked me up some stuff at yard sales.
Gotcha.
He'll find stuff at yard sales and call me. And there was one he said he gets mad because I don't have a fruit phone because he can't FaceTime me. So whenever he needs to show me something, he'll say, "Any of your kids around?" Because they all got fruit phones because he can FaceTime me then. He wanted to show me some kind of golf picture. He couldn't make out the autograph, and he said, I have no clue who these old people are. He said, you might know. I said, don't worry about it. It's okay. We'll let it go. I do want to mention one thing, and then we're going to take a break and get Mike Houston on. Those of you that know Scott Cloninger, Scott's mom passed away yesterday. He sent me a text or sent a message through Facebook. I was working on the paper. I was on paper duty the past 2 issues or 2 editions. My composition person was on vacation. And he sent me a message through Facebook, and he said, can you tell me how I can get an obituary in the Times? I said, great timing. I'm sitting here working on it right now. If you'll get it to me, I got to have it by 3 o'clock, and this was a little before lunch. I said, I got to have it before 3 o'clock. Because that's our deadline. I have to have it to get the paper printed so we can get it out. And he got me that information. But she was a regular fixture, press box, made some of the best pound cake and other goodies that would always be in the Lincoln press box.
And it always comes back to food, doesn't it?
It does. It does. She will be sorely missed. But our thoughts and prayers for Scott and anybody that knows Scott. And if I'm not mistaken, they're having the funeral and everything tomorrow. Let me ride back here through some comments. 4, glad to have you with us. 4 said that Mike Houston was the head coach at T.C. Roberson when he was the D.C. at Irwin in 2004.
Okay, yeah. And he left T.C. Roberson to go to Brevard for Bobby Poss. I believe that's who the coach was.
That sounds right.
And it didn't go so well there. Things kind of fell apart in a hurry, and he was kind of a free agent. Is when Fred Goldsmith plucked him from Brevard and brought him to LR, and the rest is history.
The rest is history, yep. Milton, good evening. Joe, good evening to you, my friend. Joe said Limestone got their titles and interest has dwindled since then. Limestone football has little to do with that, too, because they've gotten better in football, hadn't they?
They got better last year. They made the playoffs for the first time. And my understanding is, we were asking around yesterday, they were going to play their football games on their lacrosse field. And for the life of me, I don't know where they're going to have enough stands.
So they play at Gaffney?
They did play at Gaffney High School. But
it's bigger than most college stadiums.
Oh, yeah, it's 10,000 seats. Yeah, on the reservation there?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But they said they're going to move everything back on campus. And I just they didn't have the parking yesterday or anything like that.
The first year I did high school football broadcast, I wasn't that we weren't any kind of ownership, but I went with Calvin. He wanted me to go with him to do a game on the Gastonia station. It was Hunter Huss at Gaffney.
Oh.
Never been to Gaffney. That was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen for a high school football stadium.
Yeah, it was.
That
Was
impressive.
Whole up and down 85 from Dorman and all those other schools, they're just gigantic. They're better than college stadiums, a lot of small college stadiums.
First time I had seen a real high school stadium that was goal line to goal line with home stands.
Yeah.
That was impressive. And this is 20 years ago.
And then they have that big scoreboard that's gigantic with the list of all the state championships they've won. They must 25 state championships.
Impressive. Let me take a break. Come back on the other side. Mike Houston, head coach of East Carolina football, will join us right here on The Bottom Line.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange.
And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a Monday night. 78 degrees, sunshiny skies. Summer's going to sneak up on us just quick as you know what. You know, I'm not happy about that. Fat boys don't like hot weather. Big Mo, thanks for joining us tonight. Glad to have you with us. We'll go to our phones, bring our guest on. Long tenure in Western North Carolina, from high school to college, and now he's in the eastern part of the state, down in Greenville, North Carolina. Head coach of the East Carolina Pirates, Mike Houston. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. How's everybody doing?
We're good. We're good. Speaking of heat, it gets a little warm at ECU, doesn't it, in the summertime, early fall?
Oh, yeah. Now, I'll tell you what, July, August, September, it's a cooker down here now.
Well, you start to get east of Fayetteville, it don't take any prisoners down there. It just gets bad.
No, it's a different kind of heat too. So
yeah,
the guys that aren't accustomed to it, they struggle. So we try to get them out in it a good bit this summer.
I'm sure they do.
Hey, Coach, let me apologize. I was en route. I was supposed to text you. I apologize for not texting you, so and it's on me. But I'm glad you're aboard. Hey, the reason we had you on tonight is Lenore Ryan said to announce that your mentor, Fred Goldsmith, is going to go in as a contributor into the Lenore Ryan Sports Hall of Fame. Without getting too into it, too emotional about it, but what has Coach G meant to you in your coaching career?
Well, I think first off, he's like a second father to me, and I don't know where I would be today if it was not for him. And he was a tremendous mentor, and he's still an important part of our family. And just someone that I learned so much from about how to be a head coach, but also just how to impact young men. And I'm forever indebted to him and Pam, and love them like they were biological family.
Can you remember how things kind of happened that you wound up with, or how you remember how you got the phone call from Coach G that you wound up at Lenore Ryan for those years?
Yeah, well, I'd been a high school head coach, and I got some harebrained reason I decided I wanted to be a college coach, and so I quit my job, and I took a job at Brevard College, and we restarted the program. And so I was the defensive coordinator at Brevard College the first year that they had football back, and Coach G and I had gotten to be very close, over the years, and actually coached against each other. We were both high school coaches, and I got wind that this was going to happen at Lenore Ryan, and he and I were talking, and I remember he called me and said he wanted Amanda and I to meet him at Stoney's off exit 44 in Asheville. He was on his way to Hickory, and he wanted to sit down and meet with us there, and we kind of talked through everything, and then he said, I want you to drive down and meet the athletic director. And so that next weekend, Amanda and I drove down to LR. There was nobody there. It was probably December. I think kids maybe were away or something. And I met a guy named Neil McGahee. And I will never forget, my first time meeting Neil. And so that's kind of how it happened. And, those two guys obviously had a huge impact on changing the direction of not only Lenore Ryan football, but Lenore Ryan athletics.
It wasn't always a bed of roses those first couple of years. Can you remember after you got there, was there a turning point, very pivotal turning point that got the program turned around in the right direction?
Well, I think there were probably two. I think one was, the first 2 years we were terrible. I'm just telling you. I thought we were going to get fired. I told my wife, I said, I've screwed up. I should have never come here. And but the third year, we beat Catawba at Catawba, the last regular season game. Obviously that's a very important game for LR, and Catawba had been one of the better programs in the league. They'd beaten us really bad the year before at home. So I think that game. And then I really think the true turning point is fast forward the next year on Senior Day for guys like Marcus Shuford and Carl Brooks and Jasper Thomas and some of those guys. We beat Catawba handily between the bricks, and Marcus had a great day that day, and just I just remember we knew the program was forever turned.
And one of those players you just mentioned, him, Marcus Shuford, he's another one of those guys, a local product from here in Newton Conover. He is also going into the Hall of Fame in 2023. Can you remember about Marcus, what stood out for you about him, and how did you guys get him to come to LR?
Well, I was probably as close with Marcus Shuford as maybe any player I ever coached. Probably he and Mike Green were the two. I remember Marcus, Newton Conover High School. I remember I went and watched him play basketball, and we were trying to get him to come play for us, and got him signed. And then like I said, we weren't very good that first year. We started him as a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So and it was ugly. It was real ugly. And I remember I forget the running back's name, but Mars Hill had a real good tailback, and he ran Marcus flat over on the goal line. I mean, it was embarrassing. But Marcus Shuford, he never forgot that play. And I can't tell you how important he was to the change in the program. His leadership, his work ethic, his dedication, his drive. And, the thing I remember about that Catawba game his senior year was he had the interception that sealed the win.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day he was named the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. And that kid is something special. He's not a kid anymore. He's a grown man. We still stay in touch, and he's got a beautiful family. But just what a special time. And just, when I think of those two individuals, Fred Goldsmith and Marcus Shuford, I just think of two people I'm just so thankful that I had in my life.
We're talking with Coach Mike Houston, head coach down at ECU. All right, I want to take you back just a little bit. Juju was kind of catching me up. You were at Mars Hill as a tight end. Who's your head coach?
Right. Tim Clifton, my last couple of years, who's still there, which that's pretty amazing.
I was just that's where I was going.
Yeah.
So how was it when you were at Lenore Ryan and go back? There's not a lot of players that get to go back and coach against their former head coaches.
No, but I'll tell you, and I give him a hard time. So I never beat him as an assistant. And really, when they beat us on homecoming in 2010, I thought we were going to get fired over that loss because we led the whole game. But he never beat me while I was a head coach, and so I remind him of that. But it was great. I mean, it reminds you of one thing. It reminds you that I love Mars Hill. I love Coach Clifton and Coach Barnett and Coach Pfeiffer. They were very impactful in my life when I was a player there. But when I was at LR, I was trying to beat them as bad as I could. Now I promise you. And boy, I'll tell you. Now we had some epic games against Mars Hill. Mm-hmm. The one in 2011. We're 3-3 on the year. We lost to Tusculum by 1 on the road the week before. Had a block kick. We go to Mars Hill. They're ranked number 2 in the country. They have Jonas Randolph, who ended up winning the Harlan Hill Trophy that year, and they're averaging 40 points a game or something like that. Jonas is averaging 200 yards a game. I told our kids, I said, he's not going to run the football, and I said, we're pulling everything out. I said, we're not holding back. And we came out, we got the ball first. We drove it to about midfield. We got stopped on third down. We faked a punt with Major Heron at punter. He rolls out. I don't know how they didn't notice he was in there. He rolls out, completes the ball to Nick Stutz, and then the very next play, Brent Thompson throws the post wheel and Major hit Stutz for a touchdown. I think it was 52-7 in the third quarter when we pulled the starters, and that was the turning point. That year in 2011, which we won the first conference championship since I think '92.
Yeah,
so, there were some big games against Mars Hill.
It certainly was. Coach, while we have you just for a few minutes, fast forward now, your football team at East Carolina turned the corner last year, won 8 games, won a bowl game. Give us a little preview of what you guys are looking at in 2023.
Well, we got 6 guys in the NFL right now that played for us last year, so we got a lot of familiar faces that aren't with us anymore. But we have a very solid roster. A little bit younger this year, a lot of new faces, but a very strong team. Now we open up with this team up north, University of Michigan, in Game 1, which they're either going to be ranked 1 or 2 in the country when we go up to Ann Arbor. So that's not exactly the opener that you want with a young team, but we're excited about going up there. But I'm excited. The American Conference is changing. I think East Carolina, we've kind of established ourselves as one of the more solid programs in the league with the last 2 seasons we've had, and it's going to be an exciting year.
You got some regional rivalries too. You throw in Appalachian State, you play them, and in Charlotte as well.
Yeah, man. I would rather App come to us than us to have to go to Boone in Game 3. I think the game, it may be already sold out, but that'll be a tough one up there. Home opener against Marshall, which that'll be a challenge. I think we play Charlotte later in the season. But it's a tough schedule. But the American Conference is challenging, so you're going to have a tough schedule every year.
Yeah, and of course there's a few there's a little game that you play against a team that's just up the road that's for some reason became a big rivalry, and everybody wanted to deny it was a rivalry. But East Carolina and NC State have become one of those backyard brawls. It seems like.
Yeah, we beat their freaking eyeballs shut last year and missed 2 kicks. I'm still sick about that one, but it's a big game now. Our kids get up for it, our fans get up for it, their fans get up for it, and that was a great ball game in the opener last year, and they had a great year. Hats off to them. They made the plays we didn't, but guys, that's one you thought you had now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Coach, let me ask you one final question. Did you have a chance to talk to Coach G since the news came out? Did you give him a call or a text?
So I've been waiting to call him. I found out a month or so ago that he was going in, and so I didn't know if it was official or not. And so I'm glad you guys let me know that it's official. I want to contact he and Marcus both. But I usually talk to Coach G about every other week, and we stay in pretty close contact. And Marcus and I we talk a couple times a year or something like that. So. I look forward to congratulating them, but also thanking them because, again, and without either one of them, I'm just telling you, Marcus was an impactful player of my career. Without either one of them, I don't know if I'd be where I am today.
Wow. Okay.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us. If you would give my friend Donnie tell him I said hello. We go back to high school. He played at the old Granite Falls back in the day, and then when we turned seniors, they built the new high schools up in Caldwell County, and he moved over. But known Donnie for a lot of years, and glad to see him still with you as well.
Well, we have a pretty strong Lenore Ryan contingent on our coaching staff, so we talk a lot about the Hickory area, and Granite Falls gets pulled in there every once in a while too. So
I'm sure
this place is very, very close to all of us.
Yeah, Coach, best of luck. I'm sure we'll talk with you again in the fall.
I appreciate you. You guys tell everybody I said hello.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
All right, go Bears. Thank you, Coach.
That's Coach Mike Houston, and appreciate him taking the time, even though somebody didn't text him.
I did. I texted him yesterday and asked him. I said, Coach, would you join us on the show? I swear to you.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, his answer, absolutely.
Yeah. Mike, he's class act.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Class act, yep. I was thinking that I thought Clifton was probably there when he was at Mars Hill.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of players get to go back and coach, head coach to head coach against your former head coach the coach played for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes a difference. Let me take a break. We'll come back, we'll chat a little bit, and then we'll be joined by Greg Paradine. Talk a little lacrosse. I'll sit on the sidelines for that. Back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. And welcome back. Appreciate Coach Houston joining us. Super nice guy.
Sure is.
Super nice guy. Glad to have you here with us. The thing we were talking about earlier, I won't do it on air, but we were talking about a situation. I found some more information I'll share with you later.
Okay. All right.
We're not trying to keep anything from you. It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. What's going on? I saw this story broke today in the NFL, and the only thing about this is it messes up your schedule for an NFL team. The NFL owners okayed flexing of Thursday night games. Well, that's a different timing thing. It's different when you're flexed from 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday till 8:30 on Sunday. But they'll have to do that flex kind of early, won't they, to get teams where they can prepare?
Yeah. Teams and fans and the players.
And how are you going to do that with tickets?
I don't know. Why are they going to do it on a Thursday flex? Why don't they just, like you said, do it on a Sunday?
Well, they do the Sunday. You know, NBC used to have the ability to flex those games.
They're changing a lot of things because you're not going to see just AFC on CBS.
You hadn't seen that for a while.
Yeah, they're going to rotate teams on different networks, which I guess is okay.
I don't know why it matters now.
No.
Yeah. I mean, really, after they merged and became the NFC, AFC, really didn't matter after that because they're all inside the same league.
I
don't really understand.
But I think we got used to seeing, and at least with the NFC, you got used to seeing Dallas all the time. even though they haven't been very good for the last 28 years.
Yeah. And then let me ask you this.
They passed a new rule today, too, in the NFL.
What's that?
Third quarterback.
I saw that. Yep, that was the other thing. They approved an emergency third quarterback
They must have listened to
proposal.
this program back in January.
Undoubtedly. How about this one? How about as stockholders, shareholders, partial owners at Green Bay,
You and I.
do we get selected first to attend the 2025 NFL draft? Because that's where it's going to be.
Is it going to be in
It's gonna
Green
be
Bay?
in Green Bay. Yep. Green Bay selected to host the 2025 NFL draft.
Well, will you get an email, an alert maybe to
I
let
don't
you
know.
know?
I hope so.
You get voting privileges when they ever have any kind of vote.
I hope so. I'm counting on it. But
So it's always around April 25th, April 26th, 7th.
Will be held in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Population 107,000.
Yeah.
It's been nearly a decade in the making. But Packers president Mark Murphy first revealed in 2016 that the team combined with local government and tourism officials to put in a bid to host the draft as early as 2019. There had been concerns about whether the Green Bay area had enough infrastructure, including hotels, convention space, to host such a large-scale event. Green Bay was a finalist for the 2024, which wound up going to Detroit. But the 2025 draft will take place inside and around iconic Lambeau Field in Titletown.
I don't know if they have the infrastructure. I was up there 2 years ago.
I've never been.
In the
It's
summertime.
on the bucket list.
Yeah, in the summertime. And they have people that own houses that are, they rent them out during the season. And it's right across the street.
Kind of like living in Augusta.
Yeah, they're living right across the street.
Now-
I don't know if they have the hotel. They do have. There's like a village right next to the stadium of townhomes and hotels and that kind of thing. But I guess it's big enough.
The Kansas City draft this year, the league said was attended by more than 300,000 spectators over the 3 days. Now, they did not submit a bid for the 2026 draft because there's another major event going on. Do you know what that is?
Where?
In Green Bay at Lambeau.
At 2026? I don't know. Rolling Stones. I
A
don't know.
college football game between Wisconsin and
Michigan.
Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame.
And only want to hold one non-Packers event per year.
Okay.
So there you go.
The shareholders have spoken, maybe.
I guess. I don't remember voting on that one. I don't know what I would have voted, but I didn't get to vote on that one.
Me either.
Yeah, I didn't get to vote
It's
on
a
that
shame.
one. We were talking earlier last week. I was waiting for, when a celebrity, a sports star or whatever, when they pass away, they usually come in threes. You wait for the third one. Well,
Yeah.
2 happened last week. In my eyes, anyway. Of course, Jim Brown, great Jim Brown. But before Jim Brown, at the same age of Jim Brown, 87, superstar Billy Graham, the wrestler. Do you remember him?
I do remember him.
He passed away at 87.
7
He
years
had,
young.
He had a kidney transplant. Of course, he did the roids back in the day.
Yeah.
But he had the 22-inch pythons. That's what he called them. And he first started in bodybuilding. If you remember a bodybuilder named Frank Zane.
I do not.
Oh, yeah, I used to follow bodybuilding. Not that I could do it, but I followed it anyway. Even when I was trying to think, Haney, there was a big black guy, and his last name was Haney.
Haney? You mean Mr. Haney?
No, that's wrong. Yeah.
Mr. Douglas.
You thought I didn't know that.
Green Acres.
He started as a bodybuilder.
Okay.
And then he kind of combined the two, and he was predominantly a baby face, but he had a little bad mean streak in him too. But back then it was you either a face or a heel.
Okay.
That was it. There was no in between. But superstar Billy Graham, he was one of my faves back in the day.
Is that his real name?
His real name was Wayne Coleman.
Coleman.
Coleman, Coleman. That's how he competed in bodybuilding.
Okay.
Was Wayne Coleman. And I've read the story, but I can't remember what the story was on how he took on the moniker of superstar Billy Graham. But he passed away, and then a couple days later,
Jim Brown.
And I didn't realize you said he was a good basketball player as well. He was really known at Syracuse for lacrosse.
He was. He sure was. He was born in New York, I believe, and then he moved at some point in time, maybe when he was younger, to St. Simon's in Georgia.
I know that Dan Patrick and them were talking about. They were looking up. I think it was, or it might have been Keever and them on Saturday. I can't remember now. Jim Brown is still kind of up at the top of the heap for the highest average yards gained per carry over a certain amount of time.
9 years, like 5.5 yards or 5.2, something like that.
And
over 5 yards a carry.
And I think I was trying to remember who was talking about this. They were talking about when you looked at Jim Brown, it looked like his face was coming out of the helmet.
Oh,
behind the face mask. And he used to tell players, this in here is mine. Anything outside that helmet you can have. But you better not get your hands up in my face. Because, back in the day, they would get their hands up under the face mask and those kind of things.
And he was the first, I guess, athlete that walked away.
Mm-hmm.
He was making the movie The Dirty Dozen. And the owner, I think it was Art Modell of the Browns, said, we want you in camp. This is in training camp, middle of the summer. And he was planning on finishing up the movie because he said he got paid more for doing the movie than he did as an entire career in the NFL.
Was he not kind of like Barry Sanders and just got bored? They couldn't win.
Well, he was coming off his best season ever. They just won the championship.
I know.
They just won the championship. So he was off making a movie. And the owner said, we want you in camp for training camp at the beginning. And he said, nah, I quit. He went off to make movies with Raquel Welch.
Do you want me to tell you another NFL player that quit to do wrestling? Ernie Ladd. You remember Big Cat Ernie Ladd?
Ernie Ladd, yeah.
He walked away in his prime in the NFL too because he said, I can make more money wrestling than I can playing football.
Yeah. I think for Jim Brown, I think part of it too was just on his belief that
he was born at St. Simon Island.
And moved to New York.
Yep.
Okay, that's what it was. I knew it was something along those lines. I just think he wasn't going to be told what to do. He was one of those, and again, during the 60s, he ran with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali, and Bill Russell, and all those guys that were changing the landscape of sports.
And I'm going to tell you something. He was a bad man. Just a bad man, But the thing that I guess I admired most about him, and he went in the 57 draft, round 1, pick 6 out of Manhasset, New York, Manhasset High School.
Okay.
So you had it backwards, but yeah. But he was very strong in his beliefs and those type of issues, but he was never ugly about it like a lot of folks are. Kind of like Charles Barkley's same way. He's very strong in what he believes, but he doesn't get ugly about it.
Well, yeah. We don't want to get into the other side. He had a bad. He had a temper.
Yes, I told you he's a bad man.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
But he did a lot of things that he did not want to get the publicity for. He went behind the scenes to make things happen. He got involved with gang work. He tried to get people turned around that were in gangs and get them turned on the right side of life. And he did a lot of that, and he didn't seek attention, didn't seek publicity, and any of that kind of stuff. And those guys back then, that's just the way they were. Nowadays, you got to take cameras with you if you're going to go. If you're going to go do some public service, you got to have a truckload of camera people with you.
He is credited with 53 acting roles.
That's pretty
Jim
good.
Brown.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
And he made
he earned 13 letters at Syracuse. I'm sorry, 13 letters in high school. Football, lacrosse, baseball, basketball, and track. 13 letters.
So you look at the 20th century of athletes, he's probably up there with the top 3 or 4.
Oh, I think so, yeah. Moved to New York on Long Island at the age of 8.
Okay.
Let me take a break. Greg's going to join us next because I didn't talk too much already.
We'll talk lacrosse.
We'll talk lacrosse. We'll talk Jim Brown.
The oldest sport in North America. How about that?
That's true. Native Indians, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stiefel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stiefel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange.
And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a Monday night. We're glad to be back. We took a little 2-week hiatus.
We did.
We had bigger names on the other line. I'm going to go to our phones, bring our next guest on. He is the head coach at Lenoir-Rhyne University in La Crosse, getting ready to go for their second shot at a national title. He's Greg Paradine. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Now, I'm going to flex my first bit of lacrosse lack of knowledge here. That's what I told Juju. I like to watch it be played. It's kind of like watching hockey. I'm completely lost as far as what's going on. But we were talking earlier about the great late Jim Brown and how he was his senior year, his first team All-American lacrosse. He scored 43 goals in 10 games to rank second in scoring nationally. And he was so dominant in the game that lacrosse rules were changed, requiring a lacrosse player to keep their stick in constant motion when carrying the ball instead of holding it close to his body. There's currently no rule in lacrosse that requires a player to keep their stick in motion. He's also in the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Are you familiar with that story?
Oh, yeah. Jim Brown said he would rather play lacrosse 6 days a week and then football on Sunday. That was his famous quote about lacrosse.
I've always heard that was really the number one sport that he excelled in. And then Juju and I were talking about this, and not to be derogatory, but lacrosse now, when lacrosse has made a comeback, it's come back in schools that kids don't want to play football. They want something that's got some contact in it. Don't want to play soccer because it doesn't really have the contact. So they've picked up, and lacrosse has become much more popular, but it started like with private schools. It was a little unusual for me for a black athlete to be playing lacrosse back in the 50s.
Yeah, he grew up on Long Island, actually where I'm from. And, back there, it was a mostly public school sport, and everybody played.
Okay.
It was pretty popular with, a lot of football players. And you see a lot of crossover with football players. And at LR, we've had a number of football players and lacrosse players.
All right.
Lacrosse looks like too much work to me. I apologize. I'm a big boy.
Coach, congratulations bringing home the win yesterday. I'm going to ask you this question up front. Is LR now becoming more of a lacrosse school than a football school?
I don't know about that. But we like to, we're definitely proud of our lacrosse program and all the athletics at LR. And we hope the second time going up to Philadelphia now in the championship game, we've got some experience under our belt, and hopefully we can bring home the trophy on Sunday.
I thought I was at the match yesterday. I thought that having the crowd behind you guys, the home crowd, and I think the LR fans that were there were louder, more boisterous, and more of them than Limestone had. Did you think the players fed off of that kind of energy? Because you guys seemed to grab the momentum early on. You never trailed throughout the whole match. Yeah,
absolutely. When we walked off the bus, we had a huge crowd, giving the guys an ovation, and it was really neat to see the way the Bears traveled. And we always get good crowds at LR between the bricks, but to see it on the road, the support we got on the road yesterday was amazing.
And this team this year, how would you describe it? Resilient? Is that a good way to start?
Yeah, it's funny. I told this team the first day of practice, the first meeting we had in August. I said, this team has the ability to win the national championship. We had a lot of returners from that 21 team. We've got a lot of great additions that we've added. So we've got a lot of experience, and we had all the ingredients to make a deep run. I think it was just a matter of kind of fitting some puzzle pieces together there at the end and kind of changing the way we play a little bit more possession-based on the offensive end. And that's what's really sparked the run in the last, 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, with all 3 road matches, it's almost been like it's a redemption tour because you beat the defending national champions last year. You knocked off the team that eliminated you in the South Atlantic Conference tournament in terms of Limestone. It's been like you got a second chance at some of these schools, and now you check it off, and it seems like this team is starting to peak.
Absolutely. That's what you want. It's a long season. Lacrosse is a physical sport, and you want to be peaking this time of year. In May, thankfully, we've gotten some guys who were injured in the middle of the season back. Victor Powell was All-American defenseman for us. We got him back right before the tournament, so that was a huge boost for us. We feel like we're peaking at the right time, and it's a one-game season right now.
When you look at getting ready for the play in a national championship like that, having been there before a few years ago, does that help in terms of what to expect and all the preparation and all that goes into having to travel to play in a championship match?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like I said, we probably have close to half our roster that played in that national championship were on the team when we played in that national championship game. And it's just a different environment. We're playing at Limestone last weekend, and we're going to be playing in Lincoln Financial where the Eagles play on Sunday. That's quite a difference in venue. And so having been there and playing in a big stadium, and it's definitely in all the hoopla around the national champion, the Division I national championship and semifinals. It's definitely good to have some experience going into that weekend.
We talked with Mike Houston a few minutes ago, and he was talking about Fred Goldsmith, who's going to be inducted into the LR Sports Hall of Fame, and his impact that he had. But he also brought up Neil McGahee's impact, and Neil McGahee hired you to start the lacrosse program. Have you thought about where this program was when you first came here and where it's at right now?
Yeah, it's amazing to think about. The first meeting I ever had with Neil and talking about lacrosse, and then when I took the job here, there was nothing, no goals, no balls. Not many people knew what lacrosse was, and that I remember the first year we had a team on campus. Neil, being Neil, told me, "Hey, I want you to bring your team out at halftime of the first night football game, get on the microphone and explain lacrosse to the crowd." And that was really LR's first introduction to the game of lacrosse, and that was a really neat moment for us. And, all the guys who've come before, just building the program into it. It's been really special.
Coach, that's something I wished I understood more. I told Juju, and maybe you can tell me if it still exists or has it gone away. When I put together the ESPN station down in Charlotte, we were a sponsor of the Major League Lacrosse team that was in Charlotte. Is that still something? That was a national thing. They played games on ESPN too. They were nationally televised. Is that still something that's locally done, or is there a major league in soccer? In lacrosse?
Yeah, so that the MLL has sort of merged into the PLL, so it's a professional lacrosse league that's sort of based on the NASCAR model of traveling. So they have I think 8 teams that travel to different cities. So they'll take the league to Charlotte this summer. They'll play in Memorial Stadium down there, and they play for a weekend, and then they move on. But I heard that coming up, they're thinking about going to a city-based model, and Charlotte could be one of those teams.
Yeah, that was something that it was just kind of coming about, and this is probably 7-8 years ago. But they used to put a pretty good crowd into Memorial Stadium for lacrosse.
Yeah, yep, and I think if they brought a franchise into Charlotte, it would do really well. They fixed up Memorial Stadium. It's a great venue. We hope to have our SAC championships there coming in the coming years. So it would be a great venue, and I think it would be a good draw for Charlotte.
All right, Coach, we appreciate the time, and thanks for joining us. Best of luck, and hopefully we can talk to you the next time and talk about a national championship.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, before we get gone, I'm just all about Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Did you know that 17 years after retiring from football, Brown considered coming out of retirement to play for the Raiders?
Yeah, I remember that.
Because it looked like Franco Harris was going to break his record. Brown disliked Harris's style of running.
Yeah, he did. He ran out of bounds.
Criticizing him, for running out of bounds. And he said that following Harris's last season, a challenge between Brown and Harris in a 40-yard dash was televised. Brown at 48 was certain he could beat Harris, who was only 34. Harris was clocked at 5.1 in a 40. Brown was clocked at 5.72, pulling up towards the end of the race, clutching his hamstring.
Oh.
Did you know Jim Brown, when he was in college, was a member of the Reserve Officer Training Corps?
I did not know
what that is?
No.
ROTC.
Oh, okay.
He came out of Syracuse, was commissioned a second lieutenant, and during his time in the NFL, he continued his military commitment as a U.S. Army Reserve and served 4 years and was discharged as the rank of captain.
I did not know that.
The things that he accomplished is unbelievable. Just unbelievable. He set a school record playing only 8 games, scored 14 touchdowns. Regular season finale, they routed Colgate 61-7. He rushed for 197 yards, scored 6 touchdowns, kicked 7 extra points for a school record of 43 points
I didn't know
in
he
a
kicked
game.
either. That makes sense, though. He would.
In the Cotton Bowl, he rushed for 132 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, kicked 3 extra points.
Wow.
But a blocked extra point after Syracuse's 3rd touchdown was the difference as TCU won 28-27.
Who were the 5 other teams that passed on him before Cleveland drafted him? I'm sure the Steelers were one of them.
1955, he finished 5th in the national championship decathlon. That's 10 sports, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
He probably, if the year was right, he probably could have went and competed in the Olympics.
He averaged 11.3 points in basketball, 2nd team All-American in lacrosse, senior year, 1st team All-American in lacrosse.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
As Fred said, as you heard. You mentioned, do they have who the top 5 draft picks in the NFL were in 55?
Wait 1 second. We can find that. That's easy.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, 57 draft. Here you go. The 57 draft. The Packers took Paul Hornung.
Okay, that's not bad.
The Rams took John Arnett, a halfback out of Southern Cal.
Never heard of him.
The 49ers took a little-known quarterback out of Stanford called John Brody.
Okay. He turned out okay.
And number 4, the Green Bay Packers, 2 picks in the top 5, took Ron Kramer, an end out of Michigan. The Steelers took a guy named Lenny Dawson.
Lenny Dawson. He never played with the Steelers either.
There you go. That's who went in front of him.
Okay.
That was in some of the other guys in
They
that
traded him
draft.
to Kansas City. Or I guess it was
And the
Dallas
rest is
then.
history there.
Yeah.
Jack Pardee.
Some Hall of Famers there.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I
55 was a
recognized
good year.
any other ones. Yeah, there was one final quote, and the only reason I bring this up because he was another one of my favorite players back in the day. That was you remember John Mackey?
Yeah, I sure do.
Played
Tight
for the
end.
Colts.
Yeah, tight end.
John Mackey said that Jim Brown once told him, make sure when anyone tackles you that he remembers how much it hurts. He lived with that philosophy and always followed that advice. He delivered as much pain as he got.
And he always got up slow. He didn't get up and jump up and down and point to the crowd and signal first down. He just got up real slow like he was hurt all the time.
He had a mission.
Yeah.
He was a man on a mission. Glad to be back in the seat today. Thank you, sir.
Good show. Thank you, my friend, as always.
Great. Hey, he's a great booker, guys. I mean, he gets the stars. I can't do that. I just run the board. For Remember, I'll be in the morning. Have a good one.